Alright everybody, Slider Havoc here, and I am here to introduce you to what I have promised, the never-ending power source. So without further ado, let's take a look. Boom! There it is. A very consolidated little setup here. It's only a 3x3 area. It goes, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks tall. And it is all you will need to have never-ending power. You can see all the major components are visible in the design. We've got the Reactant Dynamos on each side. We've got Magma Crucibles on each side. Pulverizer. I have a Tesseract here because you could just outsource your energy anywhere else you need. And a resident energy cell, which is basically telling me that my power is still working. If it wasn't, then this wouldn't be charging. So yeah. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get going on the build. So these are all the components you will need for your unlimited power source. First thing we're doing is two Reactant Dynamos. It's made with two Tinker's Alloy Gears, which is bronze. Gears are made by putting one iron ingot surrounded by, you can either do compressed or just regular ingots. But 4 bronze ingots around an iron ingot will give you Tinker's Alloy gear. You need 2 of those, 3 bronze ingots, a redstone, and a redstone transmission coil, which is 2 redstone and a silver ingot. That'll give you 1 reactant dynamo. We need 2. Next, we have the Magma Crucible. It is a leadstone energy cell frame, a machine frame, 2 nether bricks, 2 copper ingots, and a redstone reception coil, which is, there it is, gold ingot with 2 redstone caps. And that'll give you your Magma Crucible. We need 2 of those. Next, we have our Pulverizer, which is a piston, 2 flints, a machine frame, 2 copper ingots, and also a redstone reception coil. And then if you don't know how to make the machine frame, you will need a lot of these for anything you're doing within thermal expansion or Minecraft Reloaded. So I would start to memorize this recipe. It's 4 iron or steel ingots, 4 pieces of glass, and 1 gold gives you 1 machine frame. You will use a lot of them, so you know what? There's no hurt in making yourself a couple extra when you're making them. Now, this is the nullifier. I use the nullifier because I am playing on Attack of the B team. We do have necromancy, and necromancy gives you a surplus of muscles, brains, lungs, and hearts, which I don't need because I already have too many of. So I add the nullifier to my system. It just pulls them out, and it's like putting a lava hole in the ground and throwing your stuff in. It just automatically does it for you. It's real easy. Invar ingot, 2 tin ingots, a lava bucket, and a pneumatic servo. We are going to need a couple different fluid ducts, or we are going to need fluid ducts. And by now I've already posted what exactly you're going to need for this build, but it's 2 copper ingots and a hardened glass gives you 6 fluid ducts. 2 tin ingots and a hardened glass gives you 6 item ducts. And 2 electrum ingots with some hardened glass gives you redstone conduit. Now with the redstone conduit, these are empty shells. You do have to put them in a fluid transposer that is filled with destabilized redstone, and that will give you your actual redstone conduit. And then an energy cell. I'm currently showing just the resident energy cell here. Just a empty resident energy shell. And then you surround it in endurium ingots, and that gives you the resident energy shell. Alright. Wow, I can't speak shell. All right. So, we're just going to go ahead and just get started on this. So, we're going to need 1 chest, 2 Reactant Dynamos, 2 Magma Crucibles, 1 Pulverizer, 5 redstone energy conduits, 6 fluid ducts, 13 item ducts. Not a necessity, but something I put in my build. A resident energy cell, 7 pneumatic servos, and I'm going to use a Tesseract to give a display of how to run power. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this futuristic armor and this block teleporter for later. Show you how the grinder's set up. So this is going to be our power room. As you can see, it doesn't have to be very big. Technically this is a 5x5, but we're only going to need a 3x3 area to build this. So we're going to go ahead and start by placing our 2 reactant dynamos down. I run 1 energy conduit here, and then I connect them on both sides. And I put my energy cell right here. This is basically my power gauge. I can walk in the room, see the power gauge, make sure that the system's working properly, you know, all that fun stuff. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to throw up our Magma Crucibles. Oh, I don't have fly on right now. So we're going to throw in our Magma Crucibles, one here and one here. Whenever I set up any of these items, I always set it to Redstone Ignore, and I null all my sides until I know exactly where I'm going to hook stuff up. Now, in this build, obviously, I know exactly where I'm going to hook everything up, but I still null them just to remember to keep the habit when I'm putting stuff up. All right, so coming off of our Magma Crucibles, we're actually going to have our Fluidducts. Okay. And our Fluidducts are going to, oops, forgot to shift. We're going to connect to this side over here and to this side over here. And these are going to be the fluid that are destabilized redstone and are, I forget what the glowstone is called, liquefied glowstone or something like that. They're going to flow down into the reactants there. On this side, we're just going to create a loop, actually, for the item ducts. We're going to place our Pulverizer. Oh, you know what? I need to get power to that Pulverizer. I'm going to place our Pulverizer right here, so they're all on the same level. All right. And then we're going to have them coming up the other side. So we're just basically creating a big loop, except this one is actually going to come up to our chest, which is going to be located right over here in a second. So come out the Pulverizer, go down and around, up, and skip one block and go on top of it. All right. Now, the last three item ducts that we need are going to go right here, right here, right here, and I'm missing one. I am missing an item duct. Well, that's just not right. I don't know why I'm missing an item duct, but I am. All right, so there's my one more item duct, and that's just going to go right here in the middle. So you're going to have a couple different loops created, and I'll explain why that's actually necessary in a little bit. But for right now, we're going to place our chest on top, and voila, that is literally the entire system. This is the beginning of your never-ending power source. Now, I'm going to do it just because I've got it right here. I'm going to throw my Tesseract in here. I'm going to send this and make this send-only Tesseract. We're going to go ahead and set up on our power grid, and that is the whole system. Now, the reason I do this is because this power grid can be here, and I can power all across the entire world, every dimension. So, we're good to go there. Now, we've got a couple servos that we have to put in. I think I'm missing one. I believe I need one more servo. We'll put them in and see how this goes. So I'm going to need a servo here. That's going to only put redstone, blaze rods, and glowstone into our system. I'm going to need one for each one of these because they're going to filter only those items into them. This is not pumping anything in there. This is going to be pumping out, so I need a servo here. This is not doing anything. Can I see that one? Yeah. That's not connected, and that's not supposed to be connected. All right. So those wrap around. This is going to be out, so I'm going to need a servo there. And that's right. I need one servo here, and I'm going to need one more servo right there. All right, so basically our whole system's set. Now we're just going to go around and make sure everything, all the ports and everything are set on each one. So we're going to start here with the Pulverizer, and see I already broke my habit, as I said, by turning everything off. All right, so this is going to be the inlet on top where our blaze rods are going to be coming in. We've got an out port on this side, which is where our blaze powder is going to be going into our reactant dynamos. And this right side is going to be our secondary, because there is a byproduct of sulfur. And I keep forgetting to turn these off. There's a byproduct of sulfur that we want to kick back into our system, because we can use it later, and it's going to kick into this chest. And in this chest, you can actually hook up your your inventory system with your pipes and your extractor chips and all that stuff, and you can send it out and put it back into your system. Now here, oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to actually grab redstone, glowstone, and blaze rods. So I need to grab a little stack of redstone, glowstone, and blaze rods. All right, so I've got my stack there. And You know what? Did I put servos in there? No, we don't need servos in there. All right. Now, for our Magma Crucible, we've got the fluid going out here, so we need to set our fluid port on the left. And then our top is going to be our inlet for our items. Once again, top. And this one's going to be on the right because the fluid's going out to the right there. And we'll make this one our glowstone. So we right click on that with an empty hand. First thing we're going to do is set our stack size down to 1. If your stack size is set higher, it actually won't import anything until you've got a full stack, and that could be detrimental to the process. We're going to whitelist glowstone on this side and make sure that that is set to ignore. So now everything that's glowstone related is going to flow right into here, and only glowstone will flow into here. And then here we're going to go ahead and set that to ignore, and I just need to set that to always flowing out. This one will also be flowing out, and since it's on ignore already. I know that, but I'll double check. Yep, so that's on ignore. And then this one, we're going to make our redstone side, so we're going to put our redstone right there. Set our stack size down to 1. Make sure we switch our redstone control over to ignore, and make sure we set this to whitelist. And there we go. Now this one right here is going to be our blaze rod. This is going to be set our stack size down to 1. Make sure we whitelist the blaze rods, and we set our redstone control to ignore. Now this one is going to have all 3, because that's all it's going to put out is our blaze rods, our glowstone, and our redstone. The chest is actually going to hold everything else. And once again, setting our stack size down to 1, we'll set our redstone control to ignore. And I just clicked it over to whitelist just a second ago. So our whitelist is good on those 3 items. It's set to ignore. And now I just have to change that to an outport. Now, the reason we have this import in is 2-part. First, we've got sulfur. That's going to be a byproduct that we want to go up into the system there. You know what? And I set these to dense to make sure the sulfur doesn't try to get back down into the system here. So sulfur is going to come back up, go into the chest, and then our item extractor for our inventory part is going to be able to pull out of that tank. But also, if this gets filled with blaze powder and this gets filled with blaze powder, the excess blaze powder is going to go up to this chest as well, and then our system will be able to take it out, and we can create some like deep storage units or whatever and take those with them. Now I think that is the whole system. Now we can test it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this back around. We're going to go ahead and right click on it. We're going to set that one to ignore. We're going to go ahead and turn our back to on, so it starts putting energy into the system. And so we can see our Magma Crucibles filling up. That Magma Crucible's filling up. And our Pulverizer's filling up. And then I can go ahead and just turn that back into off. And so now it's a charging unit. So any power that's generated from these reactant dynamos will just go back in the cell, and I can always see how the power is. Hey, is it pulling from those? All right, guys, we're back here. Sorry about the little break there. Got a little amber alert in California, and so just want to pause and get that beeping of my phone out of the video. So the system is all systems go, right? We've got all of our things set up. Our stack sizes are right. So let's go ahead and pop a few items in here. Let's get one going of each before I there we go. They are going separately, and now I can just put them all in there. So now we've got the redstone on this side with the destabilized redstone. We have the, what is that stuff called? I forget. There it is. Energized glowstone there. And then our, oh, it's not making this side. Let me split those up real quick. Yes, because it's going to fill the one before it fills the other. So we've got our blaze powder from our blaze rods that went down into here. And then it comes through the system. Once that one's full over there, this one will fill up over here. And yeah, it looks like we're rocking with everything. So the next thing I do is, once this is all up and running, I just go ahead and like to cover it up. These little covers, I'm not a big fan of these covers specifically, but because of the build of my shop, I kind of like to keep it all consistent with each other. So I'm going to go ahead and use these. The reason I don't like them is they just don't flow together. When you build with blocks, they look like that, but when you do the micro blocks, it doesn't give you that same flow. I guess, yeah, I guess that's the best word I can come up with. Continuity, continuous look, I don't know. But yeah, so we'll just go ahead and cover this up, and that's basically the whole system. Now, I did promise you a never-ending energy source, or indefinite energy source, and that is what's going to be coming next. I'm sorry, I have to do this. I like my stuff to be pretty, and I don't want to see all those pipes and whatnot. So I want to make sure they're all covered up nicely. And once I get all these covers on, we're going to go next door to where the system is built again, but it's attached to our grinder. And my grinder is not the best design in the world. I've never claimed for it to be the best design in the world. If you've got a better grinder design, by all means, you know what? Throw a link to your video down in the comments. I'd love to check it out, because I'm always looking to better my stuff. But as you can see, the only stuff that's visible once we're done here is you can see that your Magma Crucible with the redstone's working, your Pulverizer's working, the Magma Crucible with the glowstone, apparently it's all out. Or maybe all the redstone's kicking and all the glowstone's still up here in the chest. Yes, that's the problem. It's putting all the base rods into the system. Oh, and as I told you before, once it's all done, that sulfur will eventually come back up into this chest. And this is where you can just take it out using your inventory system. You can just put a pipe up there, attach the purple pipe, I forget what it's called right now, put your extractor chip on and just send all that stuff into your system. So this is all up and running pretty smoothly. So, oh, you know what? I'm going to do one other thing to show you that the power is pretty efficient. So I've got my power grid tesseract here. I like to do that one. And I've got another tesseract around here somewhere. I might be sitting in the other room. Or I might have actually... There's the other tesseract. I can just steal it from here and put it over here. Okay. So I'm going to steal this tesseract here. Oh, man. It went further in. Let me get in there and grab it real quick. Pickaxe on me. Oh, good grief. Okay, I'm just going to break my whole system. There we go. I can grab that. Alright. So as you can see, it's the same exact system, just in a different room. I'll put some covers up here. The tesseract will actually go... Oh, I can go to either one of these spots. It doesn't really matter. And hopefully I can grab this power cell. There we go. Grab the power cell. Alright, so is this one full up? Okay, this one is full up. You know what? I'll just give myself another one. Put that back in there. So we'll just give ourselves a brand new empty power cell. There we go. Plop this guy down here. I'm probably going to need... Well, I don't need that. Okay. Put this here. I'm going to go ahead and put an output on the right side here where... I'm sorry, not output. I want to import on that side. And I'm going to set this one up on the power grid channel. This one is going to be set to receive only. And as you can see, the tesseract is now charging this resident energy cell. Now, this one has been removed, so you know it's not coming from this system, so it's obviously coming from the other system. And this is powering it up. Now, for the never-ending source. So, up until that block right there, this is the exact same system. Where the difference is in my grinder setup here. So what I have here is, you know, it's probably easier to go upstairs and show this. So I've got a grinder set up here where there is an actual grinder, and what this does is it collects mob essence here. This is your energy that's run into it. This is the work idle, and then this is the work being done or whatever. This is an auto spawner, so if you want to set up a grinder for yourself, you can see it's filled with mob essence. I've got that running through pipes down there. And there are, oh, look at this. We've got spawners up here. So I've got a witch spawner and a blaze spawner. And I've got another one set up right here to run another spawner. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how that works, just in case you've never set up a grinder room. This is a block teleporter where you can set this up to always running, you know, it's the same stuff. I always do it without signal, so it's always on. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this And I think I might need those. And we're going to go ahead and go find ourselves a witch spawner, which I believe I just happen to have. Oh, we'll just go over the wall. There we go. In this room over here. Okay, so I've already got one set up. Here's a witch spawner right here. If you ever find these out in the open, the witches circles, opposing corners will have witch spawners under them. And we need specifically witches and blazes for this. So the witch spawner will be right there. You've got, let me just plop this down here. So you've got 5 green sides and 1 black side. The 1 black side is your active side. So the black side is now facing this witch spawner. Now this is a target card. Oh, I should have done this while I was in that room. The target card, if all you have to do is shift and right click on the green box, and you'll see the target card has a grid on it now, or coordinates on it. Come on, get off these conveyor belts. Alright. And so we take this card and we stick it in this other one, and that's sending the signal saying, hey, take this block there. And as you see, the spawner's disappeared and it has relocated itself right there. Now, for future reference, and I always have to remind people of this because I've done it myself 100 times, these will break if you use anything but a Silk Touch item on it. So make sure you break them with the Silk Touch item or you will lose it and it just goes away. Make sure, disclaimer, make sure you use Silk Touch. Now as you can see, I've got 3 lights connected here, and this is so I can come up here and work in this room and function if I need to do stuff. I'm just running some wireless redstone to these 3 lamps here. The switch itself is down in the power room. Well, that's how I have it set up. It doesn't have to be that way. But all you gotta do is flip the switch, and now the grinder turns on. And in a second, we should hear some blazes falling. Maybe some witches? I don't know. Let's go take a look. I've turned the lights off. Lights are off. They're not spawning. Why are they not spawning? Is this room too bright now? Alright guys, I'm back and I figured out what my problem was. I'm sorry about that. I had put these covers on and realized that the witches need to have a side available to fall out of, just like the blaze did right there too. So, yeah. So as you can see, they're all falling. The witches are falling. The blazes are falling. I'm going to go ahead and cover this back up so they don't try to sneak through. Leave my bat hole open there. Alright, so, whoa. Hey, calm down now. So as you can see, the blazes are getting picked up, the witches are getting picked up, which means I am now getting a source of redstone and glowstone and blaze rods into my system. So if I go look at this chest right here, well, I've already got to, let me clear this out. My stuff works the same way. Alright, so what it is there's an item duct, or an item duct right there, and it's pushing them down. It's running through this pipe right here and into the chest. And then when the chest gets it, it kicks it out. So there's no glowstone in that one at the moment. And there's no redstone in that one, but those reactants are still going. So it's probably just kicking straight through. So that is actually your indefinite power source right there. Those spawners take no energy to run. And they will continue to put witches and blazes into the room, which the grinder will then grab all their items, send in the blaze rods, the redstone, and the glowstone. So the glowstone's cooking right there. And I just don't have any redstone coming through yet. A little sulfur backed up there. And yeah, that's your indefinite power source. So if you guys do have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to ask, or, you know, say what you want to say. And I try to get back to people as soon as possible. I'm going to throw my tesseract back in this spot right there, because it is now going to go into send mode, and that'll be part of my power grid. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you learned something or got something out of this. If you did, I'd appreciate a like. I do appreciate comments and subscription if you feel necessary. But, you know, I've only got a couple videos up, so there's not too much to see. But there are definitely more to come. So, yeah. Oh, look at that. I killed myself a witch and didn't even know it. So, I am Slider Havoc. This is Havocraft. And I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.